greetings everyone, I hope you're well. My name is Nick, we're on the zxspectrum 48K, and we're looking at a game called Dustin, published by Dinamic software in 1987, as I defined my keys to exactly what they were before almost. What's that? Use, hit and drop. Anyway, yes, this one also came out in the Amstrad CPC and the MSX. It's like a 3D version of Joe Blade, which later on became Prison Riot. Now, it's all in Spanish, which so I'm going to struggle with this thing, but essentially what I think you need to do is get out of the prison by collecting items, beating up guards and doing various other bits. Now in the bottom right you see alerts green, which means all the doors are open. When it goes red they're closed. My energy bar is in cyan, I think. If you had this game back in the day, then let me know, especially if you're Spanish. You might know more about it than us in the UK, maybe. So now those boxes along the bottom there, the white square, that's how many items we can pick up. There's a policeman patrolling the place. We can do punch, which don't seem to be wanting to do it. Maybe I need to be in the right place. So there's a bit of a map on this one. 3D version of Prison Riot, I suppose that's quite accurate, although I think Prison Riot might be a bit more playable. It's a large sprite there to control. I think we need to beat up a police officer first of all in here to get a gun and then make our escape that way. But anyway, we're trying to get away. It's Dustin. Yes. Anyway, no music going on this thing. I'm struggling around. I reviewed the another game today. It was in Russian called Anaconda. So I'm picking languages I don't even know. It's not about expert gameplay as usual. It's about how you would have found the game your first second go. So this is quite indicative of how that would have gone. I'm trying to punch this fella, and I've lost all my energy. Anyway, lost a life. It's quite indicative of how I would have played on my first go, and would there been enough there if you want to go and play it again. Now, a Spanish kid might well have gone to play it because they could read the instructions. I couldn't understand the thing, so I'm just wandering around bewildered, not knowing quite what's going on. Would I play this a few times? Well, probably, because it's a nice wandering around site distraction, but I wouldn't have got anywhere on it, and we all had games a bit like that, I suppose. Now, if you watch this far into the video, it's all about stress busting. You might be able to shed some light on this particular game. But, yeah, please consider subscribing if you haven't already, and a big thank you to those people that have subscribed. We've reviewed a hell of a lot of stuff by this sort of time. Mainly the zxspectrum games were released in the UK, but it was big in Spain and Russia as well. Argentina have got a few games coming out there. Brazil maybe? I may have made that up. Maybe Portugal too. But it's definitely not the North Pole. The North Pole aren't really... Who's that fella? Looks like Mo Sislek. Well, he's not doing anything. I can't fight him. Yes, it's very, very quiet. It needs a 128k version of music to spruce it up a bit. Joe Blade also came out in 1987. I'm not sure if it was before this, but they're both the same year. There was 3 Joe Blade games, and then there was Prison Riot, which is the 4th one, also by Players Premiere. It used the Joe Blade engine, but it was called Prison Riot instead. I think I need to beat up someone to get a gun, or at least some objects. Maybe I can do that. So you see that cyan bar there? There's not much left of that. I'm bored. How long have I been playing this? Maybe a couple of minutes. Maybe I wouldn't have gone back then a few times as I thought. 3D games are always interesting to do. I like this sort of like perspective rather than the Night Law, which turned it in isometric. So it's 3D here rather than an isometric view. So you pretty much see what you can do. But I'm finding it hard to get in contact, the fighting bit with the police officer there. Right, that's him gone. I've got a gun. Look, bottom right, I've got a gun. Well, that's going to make things a bit easier, as long as I don't die. Now where? We're outside. I can fire a very slow-moving bullet, and I've died. Oh man, I was doing all right then. Yes. Cyan energy bar, horizontal, in the green pass thing there. If you completed the game, then let me know. If you are currently a criminal trying to escape from prison, then let me know as well. Here's a stat for you. Oh, it's gone red, so the doors won't open. Here's a stat for you. 1 in 20 people have been affected by crime, which means 19 in 20 people are criminals. That might not be correct. It seems to be logical, though. Biff, biff, baff. Right. That police officer wasn't hitting anything. So, basically, by punching these police wardens at the right time... What object's that? Looks like a little box with a wire in the top. By beating up the wardens and flooring them... They are just stunned though, so we'll get back up again. You can collect items which are helpful in your escape from this place. And I'm not escaping too far at the moment. You can pick up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 items. In a lot of these type of games you can only pick up 3, trying to make it not complicated. But, you know, there's games like Everyone's a Wally, where I used to pick up items at random and just bump them somewhere else, and I never knew what was going on there either. But as a kid, I was quite happy to walk around. Jet Set Willy, I was never ever going to complete that, but again, it was exploration, and just seeing what the different rooms were really. Attic Attack to a degree, but I did complete that one, both on the Spectrum and the Commodore 64, the homebrew of that one. So, you know, it's a lot of those wandering around type games. And I think even in the future, or more present, Grand Theft Auto, I did the missions to a point where I got stuck, normally an aircraft one, and then I just wandered around once I unlocked all the characters. So that was pretty much it, really. Pretty much it. Massive thank you to the members there. If you want to be a member on the channel, click on the join button. Not compulsory by any means, so don't feel pressured, but if you won't miss a couple of quid each month, or if you want to go into the higher brackets, that would help me massively in my attempt to try and go full time. I put out a hell of a lot of content, but quite often I haven't got time to do a live stream or an outside walk stream, because I just haven't got the time with the prices of everything going up. I'm having to work as much as I possibly can, and it's a wonder I can even put this up. So thank you for your support and continued watching the channel. There's always increased competition out there, so thank you. Have I escaped from this prison yet? It's got an outside yard. The prison warden should really lock the door. I can't see it's not many other criminals wandering around, or inmates I should say. We saw that one that looks a bit like Moses, like having a cigarette smoke. So what can we say about this game? Well, it's a little bit open. It's a little bit ungainly. It's in Spanish, so I don't really know what I'm doing. Beating up the officers to collect items to put somewhere else to escape. That seems to be the idea. But apart from that, you need a kid's imagination to zip you through, really. Every time you die, you end up back in your cell. There's some sort of bed there on a chain. I presume that's on a chain. It might not necessarily be. Why can't the game move? Move it, big nose. Move it. Oh, that's a bit better, right? He's off and running again on his another adventure that's going to end in death. There's prisoners behind cyan doors, mind their own business. I'm wandering around, the wardens aren't that bothered, and so I start punching them in the face, then they get a bit more bothered. It's the worst prison ever. Right, let's just try and do a bit of exploring now. Just try and see as many rooms as we possibly can. No room names in this one, but they don't tend to have room names, the 3D ones. I'm a big fan, as you might know if you watched this channel before, of room names. There's a hat stand there. Who's got a hat stand in this place? There's a big table, a small table. There's Mo Sislak again. And he's got an enormous toilet. Look at that. That's a huge toilet. You can sort of drown in there. The toilet is taller than, it must be about a 6 foot tall toilet. Well, that's just ridiculous. The budgets put into these prisons must be quite high. Another game where you have to escape from prison, but a little bit different. What's he doing? Oh, he's peeling potatoes. Yes, another game where you have to escape from prison is The Great Escape. Never completed that. That was in 3D. Right. And we're outside again. In the yard. Nothing to do. Yeah. Game's lacking a bit of soul for me. Maybe... I don't know. Maybe do a bit more fun, like Jack the Nipper. Need a bit more comedy element in there. Have a look at the Jack the Nipper review and Jack the Nipper 2. Just needs a little bit more charm in there to spruce it up. It's lacking something. It feels a bit like an unfinished game. Feels a bit like a demo rather than anything else. But Dynamic Software did put out a few good games. I can't really tell if I'm going around in circles here. There's supposed to be a garden somewhere. God knows where that may be. Maybe we need to collect a few items. So as you can tell, I haven't really collected a great deal of items in my first go. There was a gun, wasn't there? There was an odd walkie-talkie looking thing, but that was about it. There wasn't much else going on. Right, so let's try and oh, it's red. It's gone red, so none of the doors are open. Let's try and I don't know. He's going through the door without opening it. He must be a ghost policeman. Right, let's try and beat him up somehow to try and get his gun. Hey, policeman, where you going with that gun of yours? Well animated though, isn't it? Sprites are a good size, as I say. They got massive shoes on. Right. I don't seem to be able to get in contact. See, the fight. What's annoying about this game as well? I've selected space to hit, but to time the hit, you have to. Yeah, it's weak. I don't particularly like this game. Clever as it is, it's cleverly coded. It's got all the rooms there. Even with the language barrier, I can guess roughly what I need to do compared to other Spectrum games, but it's not really happening for me. A little bit dull. Clever but dull. Playability, it's not really enough to drag me back or get excited about or to shout at people at school about. But anyway, back in the day. Hope you liked having a look at that one, seeing it. Do compare it to Prison Riot and the Joe Blade games, a more 2D affair. But that was Dustin on the ZX Spectrum 48K, published by Dinamic Software in 1987 from Spain. Got any comments about this game, similar games, or anything retro? Then by all means stick that in the comment section below. I love reading your comments. Until next time, take great care of yourself and a very fond goodbye.
Goodbye.